Self-made means to me just being your own person, having your own hustle, and just having that drive and dedication to get to that goal that you have.
Did you hear this?
Yeah.
Do you know this song?
No, yeah,
Do you know this song?
very well.
What's it called?
Take this.
Here you go. I fucking like your music, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I like it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Andre, so your fans know who I am. Besides some, this is around the holiday season. Little Wayne will call me Santa, but I own a bunch of liquor brands. I don't know if you're familiar with Bel Air. Oh, sweet Bamboo. Do you know Bamboo or rum?
Yeah, hold on.
That's what I'm drinking right now. That's what I'm drinking right now.
Yeah,
But
right.
my past brand. Do you remember Ace of Spades?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Wait, I got that too.
Oh, shut up! Really? I love them. You gotta love them. Sweet.
I got them all.
So I own a whole bunch of brands. I got a new one coming, which I'll send you when we launch in January. But I started this series called Self Made, and I started a couple years ago. And I've had it. I'm very fortunate because I get to talk to cool ass people in sports and music, entertainment, business, all different areas. And the thing that I've been doing it for 20 plus years, and the thing that always inspired me was hearing not about success, but about the struggle to get there. Because I think everyone thinks it's easy.
For
It's
sure.
easy. And even, it's amazing. Even someone like you, where I was checking it out, I remember in your draft, how many players are not playing in the NBA anymore?
Quite a bit right now. I'm
But
still hanging tough.
correct. And that's just, it's not easy. So I always ask everybody the same thing when I start is, what does self made mean to you? Shout out Belair.
Self-made means to me just working on your own, just being your own person, having your own hustle, uh, just making it, really doing everything it takes to get to where you need to get to, and just having that drive and dedication to get to that goal that you have.
When you were young, what was your goal? You still
I'm
are, but when you were young.
trying to maximize my goals, just to be the best person I can be. Obviously, get to the highest level of my sport, which is basketball, and I reached that. I've done amazing things in this field, and definitely reached my goals in terms of that. But in terms of just being a better person, something you strive for every day.
So, but take me back. I interviewed. I'm sure you know Channing
Yeah,
Frye.
absolutely.
So I talked to him last week, and I was amazed. He never thought he'd be in the NBA. He never. It was never a goal.
Same. I mean, I think for me, just to touch on that, it's still surreal to me, being 9 years in and just being where I am now. It's just like, if you were to ask me this 10, 20 years ago, I was going to be an NBA player, I probably would have laughed at you.
What did you? So I always tell people I wanted to be an archaeologist. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to grow up because I had an aunt who refurbished artifacts in museums, and I freaking loved it. What did you want to be?
Mine was computer engineering.
Why?
I don't know. I just love computers. I love it. Love the whole software aspect of all of it. And that was it. But obviously, basketball took over that.
And with Channing, he was just. I'm assuming it's the same with you. He was tall, so everyone just kind of forced him into playing basketball.
Yeah, well, for me, I've always had a passion for basketball. My mom was a super basketball fan growing up, big Michael Jordan fan growing up as a kid. So for me, basketball's always been a part of my life. So it was never forced for me. But I always had other things on my mind too when I was playing basketball. There's other things I've always wanted to do and master.
Like what?
Music, for one.
And you're doing. We'll get to that because I want to talk about that. Who were the players you looked up to?
Shaq for sure. Sean Kemp is one of my favorite players. Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard. And that's probably it. Definitely Shaq though for sure is one of my biggest
But
people.
all big guys.
Yeah, well, Kevin's a guard.
Why them? What stood out for you with them?
I mean, the reason why I like them so much is just the way they play, just how aggressive they are, just the winners mentality that they had. and just similar to my game as well too with the way they play.
With Channing, he said he didn't even expect to be recruited in college, but you were heavily recruited.
Number one.
You correct. So at what year did all of a sudden, Jesus, basketball is something for me now?
After my freshman year, I transferred high schools to St. Thomas More Preparatory, and
Why?
just to be challenged. I wanted to be challenged. I mean, there's no disrespect to my neighborhood and where I'm from. I played Capital Prep in Hartford, but I was where I was trying to go. I knew going to a prep school would get me there faster, so I transferred to St. Thomas More. And after that summer, everything just blew up. I became the number one player in the country. Everybody knows who Andre is. I got a target on my back now. People are preparing for me before games. And after that, I was like, all right, this basketball thing might actually take me somewhere.
Did you was your since your mom was a fan of the sport, was she supporting you in that?
So, funny story about that. My mom's a fan of the sport, but had no knowledge of basketball until I got to high school. She loved basketball, but didn't know anything like tactical about basketball, like different positions, shots, etc., going on the list. But once I got better at basketball, she became it was night and day. Like she knows everything. Like in the NBA currently, she knows more stuff than I do. Like she knows what's going on with teams, who's getting traded, caps, values. She knows everything. Like she's a basketball junkie right now.
You think she is because she's being supportive of you? If you know what I mean? Like,
I think she genuinely just has a love for the game, and
yeah.
obviously being her son playing in the NBA as well too. That's also another incentive for her to love the sport.
So you did 2 years at one high school and two at the other, or 1 year and then three?
No, I did 1 year at one school, then I did two more at the my last high school. I graduated as a junior.
And how did you decide to do that?
It was too easy. It was
Really?
yeah. After my junior year, I was projected in the NBA mock draft, and after that, I was like, all right, this is getting crazy. Like now, I'm on the leaderboards for NBA drafts. I'm 16, 17 years old. I haven't even touched a college campus yet. I don't know anything yet.
What does that feel like?
It's a crazy feeling just being like a rock star in high school. I mean, like these kids now, like it's blown up way more. Like kids now in high school are way more blown up than how I was. But for me, being a kid from Middletown, Connecticut, and having that much publicity, and it's never been a thing for that city, was just crazy for me.
Who kept you honest?
My mom, she definitely was the my biggest supporter and my biggest critic as well too, making sure she kept me humble and down to earth. And even to this day, she still does it, slaps me upside my head every now and again too.
No, that's good though. You want that, right? So you want that. You need someone to keep you honest. So, who do you remember back? I'm my own sheer curiosity. Did you think you were good, or did it take you playing somebody who you had known or heard was really good, and then you were like, shit, I can do this?
I knew I was good when other schools were making like hate banners about me and like joking, like just booing me when I was in the arena or just making me feel like shit, just talking shit to me all game.
You know, that's it. If there,
I,
if
was,
there,
I must be pretty good if I have all of these people trying to distract me at one time.
so now recruiting comes. You had planned, if I read correctly, you had planned to go.
Well,
You announced on Twitter, right?
yeah, I announced on Twitter I was going to UConn. The story behind that was actually pretty crazy. I'll give you the brief version of it. So pretty much, I graduated high school as a junior. I had a decision to make either to go back to high school, finish my last year, or go to college. And it was just a back and forth between my family and I trying to figure out what's best for me and what's best for basketball. And I think going back to high school would have been it'd have been bad for me because it would have been too easy. I'd have been out of my game, and everybody's seen me at my peak already. So why not capitalize on it? So now the next issue was finding out what school I was going to. So we've never talked about schools. I have every school in the country who's written me a letter, and they have no idea that I'm interested in going to college now. So now, I'm sitting there with my mom, my aunts, my uncles. We're all just sitting there trying to figure out what we're doing. And obviously, I'm a kid from Connecticut, so why not go to UConn? So I try to call the coaches and say, hey, I'm trying to commit. And mind you, don't there's a week before school starts. So this is like the end of August, right before
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
start. So I'm trying to call coach. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to come to school. No answer. I was trying to call Jim Calhoun. No answer. This is the year they won too. So they're still like celebrating a little bit, trying to get themselves back in the rhythm. So I'm calling everybody. Nobody's answering. Nobody's answering. So I'm like, all right, how am I going to commit to this school? I said,
You're
I'm
you're
going.
kidding.
I'm going to the internet. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to the internet.
Because everyone assumed you weren't going to go.
Yeah, nobody knew what I was doing. Nobody had no idea what I was doing. So I went to Twitter and I said I'm officially announcing myself as UConn Husky. And I think like 50 seconds later, I got a barrage of phone calls from everybody from the University of Connecticut. Like, oh, is this for real? Is this for real? Like, what's going on? They finally got a hold of Coach Calhoun. I told him I wanted to come to school. And he was like, yo, we would love that, but there's one hiccup. We have no more scholarships.
Shut up.
So, just me taking a chance on myself and betting on myself, I said, all right, forget it. I'll just pay for school. So right now, I think as of today, I am the best walk-on in college history.
You're kidding. So
Yes,
they had no idea.
nothing.
Just announced I'm going there, and that was they called
Now,
you and said, "Is this shit real?"
yeah, that was pretty much what happened.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
That's amazing. Plus, you were on Twitter before everybody. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, making plays, making plays.
Are you happy you went to Connecticut?
Absolutely, definitely. If I can do it again, I'll do it again.
So I'll take you. I'm going to compare you to Channing because again, I just spoke to him last week. He went all 4 years.
Yeah,
That never fucking happens.
not anymore at least.
Well, I would even say even back then it didn't, and he wouldn't have changed a thing. Do you regret not staying longer?
Yeah, that's one thing I do regret. I wish I did 2 years, but due to some violations UConn had, they were out of the
Yeah.
tournament. That's kind of my decision on why I left so early.
Was that Calhoun's last year?
Yeah, I had Calhoun this last year.
That was his last year. Are you? Did you go to Connecticut because it's home? Did you go to Connecticut because they just won? Did you go because of
I went,
Calhoun?
it was home, and my family was, in Connecticut, so I wanted them to see me play. I mean, it was huge for me. Again, like a kid from Milltown, Connecticut. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've never had anybody, want to have me as a player. So just to have all this happen and UConn being in my back door and them being one of the best teams in college basketball was just another incentive to stay home.
Um, I'm always struck by when talking to athletes, you could have stayed in high school and dominated. You could have gone to any other school and dominated, but you're choosing difficult paths. Is it primarily because you think I have to compete with the best in order to get better? There's that mentality?
Yeah, I mean that's just how I was brought up as a kid. I played with the older kids growing up. My travel basketball, I never played with my age group. I've always played with the 17s when I was 13, 14, 15 years old. Just when you play with someone who's better than you, you'll always find a way to either surpass them or get just as good.
Where does that come from?
It's the mentality. My mom, just watching her drive and just watching how she's fought for everything. So why can't I do the same? It's been embedded in me.
But up until you decided to declare for the draft, what were your struggles?
Up until the draft, I was in a pretty good space until I got to the draft is when I started getting nervous.
Why?
When I got to the draft, I was told I was going top five, and then to fall to nine, it was a little rocky for me. But gratefully, I worked out for Detroit the night before the draft, and they told me if I did fall down to nine, that I would have a home. So for me, either way, I knew I was getting drafted, but just that anticipation, like, okay, maybe I might be going to one of these five teams first, or I'm going to Detroit. So that whole process was crazy.
What was the rap at the time?
Say it again.
What was the rap at the time in the sense of why you outside the top five?
I mean, nobody really knows why. I mean, if you go down the draft, Anthony Davis is number one.
Yep.
Mike Chris was two. Brad Beal was three. Deion Waiters was four. Thomas Robinson was five. Dame Lillard was six. Harrison Barnes was seven. Terrence Ross was eight. Then I was nine. So
Why do you know it by heart?
why? Because
Yeah.
it's a day you'll never forget. It's
Is
one of
it
the
is it
greatest
is it
moments.
more? Say again.
It's probably one of the greatest moments of my life.
Is it do you also remember it because it's motivating because I want to do better than those guys ahead of me? I want to prove something.
Not even that. I think for me, the reason why it was so motivating for me was like I've seen the draft since I was a kid. I've seen guys come in the NBA and not pan out. I think for me, my motivation was to prove everybody wrong. Why I should have been drafted higher.
Was that the first time you had to prove that though? If you
No, I
think about it,
proved myself my whole life. So that's just a
why?
part.
Why though?
Why? Whoever wants to see anybody win and mean it.
I'm guessing to prove yourself. There's this thing in the NBA right now, and it's not right now. It's been true centers is not the focus of the sport. What do you say to shit like that?
For me, I'm not worried about that. I've made it this far, so it's just adjusting to the game. I think for me, defensively, it won't really matter because I do guard 1 through 5 anyways. And offensively, it's just changing some parts of my game, which is being able to shoot that corner three at least a 35% clip, and just being able to handle the ball in transition to create the offense. And I already do that as is, so it's just getting better at shooting and just staying current with the game.
How do you stay motivated in the NBA?
You never know when it's your last day, so you try to take it as serious as possible each and every day.
Do you have a do you have a you don't have to, but do you have a plan? Like I talked to Muggsy Bogues. Do you remember Muggsy?
Absolutely.
Um, and just listening to him, his plan was to play like 17 years. Like that was his plan. He knew
Yeah.
what he wanted to do. Like, is there a plan for you?
Playing for me, I think when I'm no longer like useful to a team is when I'll stop playing. I think that's my thing. So however long that may be is how long I'll play for. But after basketball, I have so many things in the works that I'll always be busy. It won't just be me being retired and, becoming fat. I'm always gonna have something to do. I just have that workers mentality.
You've got the drive. You have that drive. Um, do players? I'll ask you, but then in a general question, I'm curious. Do you ever talk to yourself or other players about who you think you could play well for? Who do you think would understand the value that you bring?
No, we don't really have those conversations. I mean, between friends, probably like with your close friends, you probably have those like fun conversations with. But I don't think with other players we do that.
Not at all. Doesn't
Yeah,
happen. Are you excited about the upcoming season? Are you nervous?
very. No, I'm excited. I'm ready to play. I mean, I'm sick of working out. I'm ready to play 5-on-5.
Um, where are you now? Literally,
I'm
physically,
in Cleveland, I'm in Cleveland right now as we speak.
getting ready for the season.
Yeah, getting ready. We start training camp on Friday.
So how do with all the shit that happened with you over the past 6 months or so with the trade and opting in on the contract, again, going through that whole experience, is it now, I just got to focus on me. That's all I can control.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's all you can control. I mean, we can't do anything about what's going on with the pandemic.
So passions, music is a passion.
It is.
How did that start?
My grandma had me in the choir as a little boy, so I was singing for as long as I could remember.
What do you want to do with music? What's the goal?
I think my goal is it's not a hobby for me. So my goal is to master everything I touch. And me doing music now, I'm only trying to get better and better and take it as far as God lets me take it.
So I talked to Rick Ross before I called him and told him I was going to talk to you. And he
Hmm,
said he refers to me as the plug. So he wants me to plug, he wants me to introduce you to him. So I'm
for
going to
sure.
make that happen.
That'll be
So
great.
there's no one better in music than Ross. But
Absolutely.
to me, when I look at your TikTok and when I see you doing music and doing videos, you're fearless. You don't care, do you?
At all. No, I don't.
Why? Because to me, I that's the best to me that's the I'm a business person, and if I ever work with people, whether it's artists, entertainers, I want people who are fearless. Where do you get that?
I don't know. That's just how I am. I just don't care. I'm not used to like when I first like started putting my music out publicly. I was a little nervous about what songs I put out or what particular sound I let out. But as the years went on, I just had the who gives a shit mentality. I mean, I love the music and all people aren't gonna love it, but some people will. So I'll take it.
And doing the skits on TikTok, doing anything you want, I don't care. You know what? If it feels good, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, my music is feel good music. So like the videos I do are genuine reactions, like how I'm moving around in the video. Like I feel my music. So that's why it comes out and it looks so good.
Why do you think people react to you? Because you have a tremendous following. You have a tremendous following. Why do you think people react?
I think it's just my personality and the stuff that I'm talking about in my music. It's relatable. I think for me, when I do music, I try to keep it as relatable as possible because it's already tough for me as a basketball player to grab the attention of somebody who doesn't know I do music. But if I'm putting stuff out that people can relate to and have a great time listening to, the beats are always good and the lyrics are always up to par as well too. Uh, there's no reason why you shouldn't listen.
So, big picture, do you got a goal with music?
Supposed to be the biggest star in sports history.
So is it producing your own tracks, producing for others, doing both?
I think probably both. I've written a few songs for people too, so
Who do you think is the in the sports music space? Who's the has been the best crossover to date?
just including myself.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Definitely Dame Lillard, Iman Shumpert, Miles Bridges is one. Lou Williams. Let's see. Dwayne Bacon does music too. Shoot, cannot forget Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley's up there for sure too. Uh, I'm throwing myself in there anyways, even though you said I couldn't.
No, but so how do you again? I see that as that's the next stage, right? It's if you're drafted ninth, you want to prove yourself. If you want to continue to prove yourself every day, now you got to prove yourself in a different sport, music. You know what I
But
mean? You got to show that you can do this.
Forgot about Lonzo. Forgive me for that.
Oh, really?
Lonzo Ball does music too. We're not talking about Shaq right now. We're talking about currently.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I know. If you guys want to go on a list of rappers in the NBA, there's a lot of them. Those are the people that came to mind first.
No, 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 that works. That works. Um, do you see that as the next big obstacle for you is convincing people, you know what, this guy's a musician. This is what he is.
I don't think so for two reasons. One, I think I've went through that phase already where it's like trying to convince people. It's more of just putting more content out now. I
Yeah.
felt earlier on it was a little difficult for me to get people to catch their attention because I still didn't know what I was doing or what sound I liked. So it was really difficult for me to catch somebody's attention. But now I know exactly what I want to put out and what I want to sound like, and people love it.
No, I think it's great. I interviewed Tyrese, and I was telling my daughter who's 21, I'm interviewing Tyrese, and she goes, "Oh, the actor, right?" I said, "Yeah,
So
he's like, because singer. That's where he started." She's like, "I didn't know that." Like, but that's a positive. Like, he was able to to do two major things in his life, which is
mhm.
amazing. You can't. That's very hard to do.
Very hard to do.
Ridiculous. What other passions do you have?
Other passion I have is acting. Acting, I definitely love, TV and film. I take classes for it as we speak too, so I'm only getting better at that. I've done a few films where I've been on different TV shows, so just being in front of a camera is my thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Any other goals? Any other goals for Andre?
Just maximizing my potential in everything I do.
How about this season?
This season, I'm just looking forward to having a great year with the guys that I have. We have a young team, really young team, so that's good
Yep.
for get these guys to really get up and going and get their motors going and have a great start to the year.
That's it's awesome. Andre, before we go, I do this quick word association. I'm asking a couple of things. Just give me one word. All right.
All right.
One word. Middletown,
Connecticut,
Yukon,
Huskies,
Pistons,
Detroit,
the Cavs.
Cleveland,
Your favorite artist,
Chris Brown,
best rebounder in the NBA ever.
Andre Drummond,
Family,
my mom,
music,
Pop,
basketball.
dunking.
All right. Andre, love talking to you. Anything I can do in the music space or the space I'm in, please, I'm all in. I'll help you in any
Absolutely.
possible way. It's great to hear your story. I get and see why you're successful both in sports and outside, and why you have such a huge following. It's awesome.
I
And
appreciate that.
I tell people, I tell people all the time, be fearless. Don't care.
Absolutely.
That's the problem is when you think too much, you lose the opportunity. You miss it.
Ross, what's up? Ross, what up? What up?
Is he
Yeah,
listening?
he told you to plug.
That's right. But I'll hook you up. We'll all go to Atlanta together. We'll put some music together. All right.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for participating. Thanks, Andre. Take care. Have a
Appreciate
great
it.
season.
Pleasure. Thank you.